Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a video about a unit I've noticed is on the rise, and, well, one other. I've noticed that the Renmaster on Bloodthrone has been doing pretty okay for Chaos Demons. We see it with a first place with Kevin, we see it with a second place with Jake, and we see it again with another first place with Brett. Now, what does the Renmaster do? Well, has Bloodthrone. At the start of the fight phase, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to this model. Until the end of the phase, each time a friendly Khorne Demon unit makes an attack that targets that unit, improve the strength, AP, and damage of that attack by 1. Also has Champion Slayer. Each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character or monster, you can reroll the wound roll. Each time this model destroys an enemy character or monster unit, you regain up to D6 lost wounds. 165 points, T9, 4 up save, 4 up invuln, 9 wounds, has Blade of Blood, 5 attacks, hidden on 2, strength 6, AP2, damage 3, also has Attendant Shellblades with our extra attacks, excuse me, 4 attacks, hidden on 3, strength 5, AP2, damage 2. Pretty decent package for 165 points. Also noticeable that it doesn't have the usual clause of like, hey, only one enemy unit can be affected by this ability per phase or whatever. So if I'm reading that right, it should be like the Great Unclean one where you could stack the ability of Bloodthrone. So plus 2 to strength, AP, and damage. That's looking pretty nice. And just for itself, you now have the ability to have 4 attacks at strength 6, AP3, damage 3, and 5 attacks at strength 7, AP3, damage 4. That's pretty nice. But let's also talk about what came with this in some of these. So Brett brought Fleshhounds and Bloodcrushers as one. Just want to double check. Yep. Fleshhounds and Bloodcrushers. Jake brought Bloodcrushers and Fleshhounds. And Kevin brought Bloodcrushers, Fleshhounds, and Skull Cannons as Khorne units that can benefit from this. So, what do, right? If you bring it in Demonic Incursion, you have access to Advance and Charge, plus 1 AP. We know Demonic Incursion, we know what it does. Also, to be noted that if you bring it in Shadow Legion, you can use Channeled Wrath for Lance and plus 1 AP, and because they're Khorne, you also get Advanced Shooting Charge. That's pretty nice. And now talking about those units that are effective, Fleshhounds, noticeably without Karanak, which is kind of funny considering everybody's like, why did GW remove Karanak? And nobody's taking Karanak. They had to do that shit on purpose. I don't know. But Fleshhounds, Hunters from the Warp. At the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. For 75 points, you get one Flamer with Burning Roar on the Gorehound. Ignores cover, torrent, 12 inches, D6, 401. And for the melee weapons, you get 3 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 5, AP1, damage 1. Now boosting a 75 point to strength 6, AP2, damage 2 for 15 attacks, possibly Lance, possibly plus 1 AP on top of that, so 632 Lance. 75 point shitter unit is pretty decent. Strength T4, 5 up invuln or die, 2 wounds or pop, but it's a 75 point unit. Now, you do have to factor in it's 165, which could be another 165 and another 165 if you want to do that, but just for out of nowhere getting some good damage into decent profiles, that's alright. And then on the heavier side, you have Bloodcrushers. They have Brass Stampede. Each time this unit ends a charge move, select one enemy unit within engagement range of this unit and roll 1d6 for each model in this unit. For each 4 up, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. For the melee weapons, we're looking at the Hellblade, 2 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 5, AP2, damage 2, and then the Juggernaut's Bladed Horn, extra attacks, Lance, 4 attacks, hitting on 4, 6, 1, 1. So again, that could be boosted up to 633 and 722, and we can do math. Lance plus 1 AP. That's pretty nice. And each Bloodcrusher is a T7 guy or thing creature because it's 2. 3 up save, 5 up invuln, 4 wounds, 110 for 3, 220 for 6. That's that's all right. And again, noticeably, no Skullmaster, so it looks like you could just take these units and then I guess the boost alone of the Renmaster on Bloodthrone saves you some points on taking characters or taking leaders for these units to boost them up. Now, mind you, Karanak is an epic hero, so you would only be able to take one. But Skullmaster looks like you can leave him at home. I also want to talk about the Skull Cannon being brought. Skulls of the Fallen in your shooting phase after this model has shot. Select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks. They must take a battle shock test. For 95 points, you get a T9 4-up save, 4-up invo, 9 wound unit that has Skull Cannon, Blast, 48 inches, some of the best shooting in Demons. Okay, maybe not that best, because I guess all of Zinx exists, but outside of that, it's pretty funny. D6 plus 2, hitting on 3, strength 9, AP 1, damage 2, and then still being able to use Biting Maw 2 attacks, hitting on 4, strength 6, 0, AP, damage 2, and then Attendance Hellblades again, extra attacks. 4 attacks, hitting on 3, strength 5, AP 2, damage 2. That getting boosted as well as Battle Shock tests possibly causing fails, so your opponent can't use stratagems to protect themselves. And also, because you're playing Chaos Demons, if they're within your Shadow of Chaos, taking mortal wounds just out the wazoo. So that's pretty funny. I think that this is a nice little corn package for apparently both of the detachments. Now, I guess we could look at Blood Legion as well. Not this video. Maybe when it gets another result, we'll redo it again. But so far, I can see why Renmaster is making a little bit of waves. Even more so than, it seems that we're just dropping Bloodthirsters, right? I'm not seeing the Bloodthirster in these lists. And I guess to that point, right? Okay, we got one Bloodthirster, right? To that point, if everything can become a Bloodthirster, what do? But no, I guess for the points of a Bloodthirster, you could just get more shit. And I think that's what people are pivoting towards. And also, while we're talking about Battle Shock test from a Skull Cannon, I want to mention another little tech piece that I didn't really see catch on, surprisingly, that Niklas brought in Shadow Legion. I see that Tobias also kind of peeped it and tried it out. Got good results on that, but it's the Raptors. They have Fearsome each time an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this unit. Each time that unit takes a Battle Shock or Leadership test, -1 from the result. So I'm just saying, if there's some Skull Cannon occlusion, -1 Battle Shock, just saying, that could be pretty funny. And then also have Terrify and Assault. At the start of the fight phase, each enemy unit within engagement range of one or more of these units must take a Battle Shock test. So they'll be doing that at -1. And again, every time you fail the Battle Shock test, right? See, yep, Demonic Terror, while an enemy unit is within your army's Shadow of Chaos, and or is within 6 inches of one of the greater demons. Each time that unit takes a Battle Shock test, subtract 1 from test, and if that test is failed, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So, each of those tests has the chance to do D3 mortals and just keep failing shit so stratagems get turned off. So, this was pretty a nice include that we saw Niklas and Tobias apparently bring out. But Renmasters apparently are doing work. So just a quick one to talk about, these units are on the rise. And I kind of wonder why, but I can see the vision as well. And I gotta admit, this Renmaster on Bloodthrone has made me understand what I am, my feelings about another unit. That, well, if you watch me, you'll see it. But if you're just here for Chaos Demons, I understand. So, yeah, just a quick one for this one. And that's on that one. But yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.